All right, time to piss people off. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video here on Ranger Central. And today we're going over our next free agent target, and that is Nikita Zadorov. Guy that has been mentioned over Rangers Twitter within the past like 24 hours or so. So I figured, you know what, jump into it, talk about it. And tomorrow's video will be, this is weird when I pre-record stuff, but tomorrow's video will be the video of another guy that's been rumored with the Rangers, and there's like actual connections with that. But with this is kind of all just still hypothetical speculation stuff. But before we jump into it, leave a like on the video if you do enjoy. Subscribe if you guys are new, especially if you're a Ranger fan, and turn on your notifications so you know when I upload or go live. Zadorov, I think, would be a very good fit for this team, and we're gonna go obviously over the reasons. But in terms of height stuff, because that matters, he's 6'6", 235. And he plays like it too. He plays physical and mean, and that's something that I think a lot of Ranger fans would love about Zadorov if he joined the team. On top of the fact that doesn't put up a lot of points, but even then, like 8 points in 13 playoff games is actually really good for a guy that does not put up a lot of points. He almost matched his goal total from the regular season in the playoffs because he had 6 between Calgary and Vancouver. A little weird that he hasn't been able to find a home like consistently outside of Colorado and Calgary, I guess you could say, but Buffalo didn't keep him around, and then you look at Chicago, who didn't want to keep him around. But he is a mean physical defenseman. That is one thing that's good. And you know what else is good? Good at moving the puck, actually, surprisingly, despite his height. He's very good when it comes to zone exits, which, again, what have I talked about ad nauseum with this team? Zone exits were an issue. Good even on zone entries, which, honestly, added bonus because his team was terrible on that as well. I don't know why his pressures per 60's through the damn roof when he's a defenseman, but sure, why not? If he's getting in on the forecheck, someone's got it, right? And it could just be a system thing, whether it's Calgary or Vancouver. Spend more time with Vancouver, of course, this year. But yeah, there's a lot to love. He's not here to play offense and to do all that stuff, so I'm not worried about that. In terms of the passing stuff, really not worried about that much either because that's more offensive zone-based stuff. The zone entry stuff and the defensive retrievals and exits, and then zone entry defense, another guy who's good against zone entries. Very big for a team that likes to play a 1-3-1. And again, it did struggle a bit at times. You look at the zone exit stuff here on the all three zones model, and again, kind of in that Chris Tanev range, which we talked about Chris Tanev last time, which it is insane, by the way, to me, how Calgary has like this group of defensemen. They had this group of defensemen on their team outside of, you know, who invited my man type deal here with Nick DeSimone, former Ranger though. But they had Weegar, Henderson, Hanifin, Tanev, Zadorov, and they couldn't even Calgary. But all I know is Zadorov into pretty good company with guys like Power, Chris Tanev, like we talked about in the last video. Not really good in terms of that. Hampus Lindholm's actually higher regard. Charlie McAvoy, highly regarded. Matheson's actually been very solid in analytic darling. Cam Fowler, another analytic darling. Vince Dunn, Sam Girard. Like, there are some, Evan Bouchard, some good defensemen that he's in the same, you know, region of when it comes to the zone exit stuff. So it's not like he's terrible at that. It's just, again, it's probably just a system thing that a lot of the grouping is in this quadrant. And, you know, you have Mackenzie Weegar, who's all the way over here, and that's the outlier. In terms of the evolving hockey stuff, nothing really that blows your mind in terms of the defense, which is a little interesting because you would think with the way that he is, it would be that way, but it could also be that Calgary did drag a lot of it down. And on top of that, Vancouver wasn't exactly the sharpest defensive team, didn't play the most defensive system in the world in correlation to why they got bounced. This is something that I think is going to scare a lot of people too, but it doesn't scare me too much because the penalty killing does drag it down, which does suck because you would want him to ideally kill penalties. The other issue here is that he's not exactly good in terms of the fact that he takes a good amount of penalties, which makes sense, honestly, with the way he plays. So you would expect someone like him to take a lot of penalties with playing physical. But I haven't really physically watched enough Calgary and Vancouver to know if any of those infractions are because he's like getting cleanly beat, where it's Jacob Trouba type situations where guy gets beat, has to take a penalty at that point, and then it's just a shit show. So I'm not really too sure if it's that type of deal or what, but then you get to what the D-core would look like, and honestly, I like Zadorov more than having Lindgren around. And just to compare, because we'll compare here too, in terms of the evolving hockey stuff, if you wanted to compare there. I mean, better probably there. And then you look at this stuff too, and all I'm saying, I think Zadorov would be a better fit than Ryan Lindgren on the team. I'm going to say I think he's a better player. Now, I will say I do not want Zadorov on this team's top pair if they sign him. That is not what I'm saying. The AAV, a little steep, but it is only 3 years, so maybe you give him a 4th year, drag the AAV down to maybe 3.5 range type deal, and he could play on your second, third pair. I think that's an ideal spot. I also, Nico and I were putting around on Twitter the idea of the Rangers going with Miller, Fox, Zadorov, maybe sign a guy like Carrier, and then Jones Schneider. That decor would be stacked, and it's really not impossible if they wanted to do it. Like, obviously, you probably want to make changes in the forward group, but if they bought out Trouba, it is very possible for them to put that decor together if they want to. And I think it would be a really good one, that is, as well. So, will they do it? Probably not, but I do like the idea of Zadorov playing with either a guy like Schneider or a guy that can move the puck with a guy like Carrier if they went that route of signing him, which, will they? I don't know. But I wouldn't hate the idea of that sort of deal, honestly. And in terms of the long-term outlook, like I said, I'm not worried about a $4 million deal really handicapping them. The other thing that's good about Zadorov, too, like you just saw here, is he is 29 years old. This is not like you're giving a guy who is 34, 35 years old, like we're talking about with Tanev and some of these other guys, 4 or 5 year deals where it's like, do you want to pay a guy until he's like 40 years old? No. At least with Zadorov, he's only 29 years old, so you at least know you're getting some good years out of him. You're getting age 30, 31, 32, and then if you add a 4th year, 33, he should still be very solid in all those years that he's here. Maybe a little bit of regression in the last year and a half or so, but all I know is that this team's trying to win now, I'd hope at least, with Igor Shesterkin on this deal, because he could walk at very well. And I know we have the conversation that they have to extend him and Lafreniere. At the same time, it's hard to balance those business decisions, because it's like the Rangers should also not hinder their plans of trying to win this year on the long term of some of these guys, especially Lafreniere, who is an RFA. At least they have control over him. They really can't, hinder too much of it. Their plans of trying to win, I should say, on what they are going to pay Lafreniere and Shesterkin. They should have a price point in mind and plan accordingly that way, not what Shesterkin's price is or Lafreniere's. But that's a whole different conversation. That's a whole different rabbit hole to go down. All I know is Zadorov, I think, would be a very good fit for this team. The Rangers should definitely go after him on July 1st. But that's going to be it for me. Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section down below. Don't forget to leave a like if you haven't. Don't forget to subscribe. Turn on your notifications so you know when I upload or go live. And I'll see you guys in the next one.